Welcome everyone to the Executive Compass. This is where we get insights from B2B founders. We'll dive into their story, how they got started, their challenges and opportunities, and how they're shaping their business for the future. Most important. For those of you who are watching this, I am Amisha Srimankar, founder of Vectra Growth Partners, and today I have this amazing guest with me, Oliver Belin. He's the founder of Calculum.ai, and we're going to learn everything about his journey, his story, and what he's building at Calculum.ai. Hi, Oliver. Welcome to the
Hi,
podcast.
Misha. Thank you to be here. Very excited to share a little bit about the Calculum story and give a little bit insight to your audience today.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the company. And you and I have talked about this offline, but I'd love for you to tell us formally what Calculum AI is all about.
Sure, it's very easy to explain. We are a Miami-based fintech company, and what we do is we help organizations optimize their payment terms with their suppliers. And as a result, companies gain a competitive advantage and unlock working capital or improve their cash flow, which is a key focus right now in the high interest rate environment.
Excellent. And I think, what was the moment when you realized that there was a better way to help companies optimize working capital? I mean, why this particular? I'd like to go a little bit more into your background. How did you get started, and how did you pick on this problem to solve?
Yes. So maybe you can hear from my accent, I'm not from America. I'm from Switzerland. I started there in Zurich and I studied there, and then since the beginning, I focused on the space of working capital, more on the financing side. And maybe this is a good story whereby today, since always companies, they have three ways how to improve their working capital or cash flow. One is, it's very simple. One is basically you have to do more sales, and with your margins, you increase your profit, and then you can use this money to grow, to invest in R&D, in acquisition, etc. So organic growth. The other way is you get a loan, mainly from a financial institution where you have to pay interest. And the third one is you improve your cash to cash cycle. So basically, to make it simple, there's three components. One is very easy to understand. You collect your money faster from your clients. So instead of, waiting 90 days, you get paid on day 30. So you have your cash quicker and faster on your bank account. The second option is you reduce your inventory. So all the products which are sitting in your inventory, they have a value. And if this value is just sitting there, then it impacts your cash flow, your working capital. And the third one is you optimize your payment terms with your suppliers. Because obviously, if you pay too fast your suppliers than everybody else, you act as a bank, you're financing them, and the money's out. So that means without this liquidity, you cannot, again, invest in R&D, do acquisitions, etc.
Yes.
And at Calculum, or maybe I have to start in Switzerland, when I did my first company, which was called Swiss Commercial Capital, which I sold to Macquarie Bank now 12 years ago. We were focusing, like many organizations, on the financing part. So financing receivables, so allowing companies to get paid faster by paying them earlier, then financing payables. But then, as the word says, with financing, you have to consider the risk, the risk appetite, the capabilities in terms of supporting different jurisdictions, different currencies. So at the end, you're limiting yourself what is feasible to offer financing to your clients. So at the end, what you see, it's only a very small number of companies which the criteria which the financial institutions can support them. So then I saw a new opportunity just focusing on data, because even without financing, if I know what other companies are getting in terms of payment terms, can be how long they have to wait to get paid by their customers, or what other suppliers are accepting from other customers. If I have this information is power, then I can optimize my terms and hence improve my liquidity. And this was the idea behind Calculum.
Amazing. What did you, I'd like to, from your experience, because you've been in this world for a little bit, what did you learn from that first company that shaped how you built this?
So first company, what I learned, but I knew it before, but what confirmed what I expected is, even I'm the founder, as a founder, you just have maybe the idea and you have the skill set to convince others, not so much investors, but team members, who then can take the idea and embrace it and then build a company. So what I want to say was that founding means nothing. You need the team behind, and it only works as a teamwork with great team members. This I learned. And then what I learned specifically from Switzerland, I don't know if everybody knows Switzerland, but Switzerland is a very successful country, one of the best operating countries economically, politically, especially in Europe. They have right now almost zero interest rate, which is crazy, but it's a small country, so the mindset is a little bit smaller than, let's say, US. So this also was one of the reasons to establish the company here in the US and not in Switzerland, because setting up an organization, working with investors, and basically open the mind what is feasible. And the size of the market, US is definitely something which I learned from Switzerland. Before US is a better market to get started.
Very cool. And how long have you had the company, Oliver?
Almost more than 5 years.
More than 5 years. Okay, so it's been 5 years. What have been the early challenges to what you are seeing today in the company?
Yes, very good. So obviously, if you start a company, it's many challenges, but I think if you are in this position, which as a founder, you always see challenges as opportunities, not as problems, correct? So, but what was new for me and with Calculum is, like, many people always think, like, if you do something new, invent something, it's great. But if you look at most companies, most startups, when they usually, I would say 80% or 90% of the companies, they do something better, either cheaper, faster, more features, but they don't invent something new. With Calculum, we really created something new, which you could think, oh, it's great, you don't have competitors and you have the advantage, but actually it's more difficult because you're creating a market, you need awareness. It's not that you invest in marketing and people are just coming, because I would say people are not waking up in the morning, going to Google or maybe now to Gemini and ChatGPT and type in how to optimize my payment terms. So what we learned the hard way, and we are now very successful, but there's always room to improve, is hunting. So lead generation, investing in that very, very strong methodology and a process.
Amazing. So if for listeners who may not live and say breathe supply chain finance, how do you explain Calculum, if you can, in the most simplest terms as possible? Is it a product? Is it a service? How would you define it?
It's at the core, it's data. It's having the intelligence on your fingertips to gain a competitive advantage. So maybe I can explain. So today, almost in every industry, in B2B, so business to business relationships, when I sell something to you or you sell something to me, we always mainly discuss, I would say, 4 main core components of this transaction. Usually you discuss the volume. So I buy, let's say, using the term in Europe, 5 tons of tomatoes, correct? Then you discuss the quality of these goods and services. The third one, you discuss the pricing, obviously. And the last one is, Amisha, when do you pay me, or when should I pay you? The payment terms, correct? When it comes to the payment terms component, there is no transparency. Nobody knows what payment terms to apply. Everybody has its own siloed view behind their 4 walls. They know exactly what they apply, but they don't know what the counterparty is offering or accepting from other customers. And this is where we saw the opportunity to create this visibility and transparency. And obviously a core component is data, which we receive from clients and partners. And we are very fortunate that we receive this data on an ongoing basis to anonymize it and then give insights to our clients. So this is what we do.
Amazing. Oliver, tell me about the kind of companies that you work with who are working with you to use Calculum.ai in their day-to-day. Is it a specific industry? Is it a certain size? Who is this best suited for?
So as I said before, every company, so first of all, touching or providing a solution, everybody is focusing in good times and bad times. It's cash flow, correct?
Yes.
Most companies are looking to increase sales, improve profitability, and the third one is cash flow. So we are focusing usually on cash flow, working capital. And so every company is interested in this topic. The second point is, as I mentioned before, any company which is in selling or buying from other companies. So business to business transaction, not business. So B2C, it's not our focus, but it's almost the entire. And then when it comes to industry, we are now even analyzing the spend or purchasing of financial institutions. Or consultancy company. Every company needs to buy computers, needs to buy AWS, a Microsoft license, transportation. So even these organizations. So it's not just limiting to manufacturing. It can be any organization which is buying or selling goods and services. But usually the best suited companies, which we see a lot of interest, is manufacturing. And there can be pharmaceutical, food and beverage, consumer goods, automotive, aerospace. We are now speaking to airlines. Really, today our clients are very large, like large multinational companies. Like this includes Philips, Campbell Soups, Bayer, Roche Pharmaceuticals. But my intention with Calculum and how we built the system was to offer these insights to the mid-market, because to come back to the story, what I said is when you focus on financing, companies are usually mainly focusing on the blue chip companies, investment grade. They have so much access to financing, but the mid-market, they have more needs of financing and less access to it. So the idea was to provide a solution to the mid-market. Today we are in the same boat. All our clients are the largest organization in the world, and it doesn't stop here. We have so much demand, but still this year we really want to tackle the mid-market and offering that and selling that to this market. Now, in terms of geography, right now it's about 50% North America, 50% Europe. But we're offering our solution to the largest pharmaceutical company in Japan. When I'm looking in Israel, we have a client. So there's no limitation because it's a universal need, correct? Getting paid earlier or paying later.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to know, how does international or foreign banking policy, how does that have an impact on your business, or how do you navigate?
Banking policy, no, but policies in general, so most people don't know. But when it comes to payments, there is some regulations in some countries where you cannot exceed some terms, and if not, you get penalties. So in Europe, there's some countries, and it's a changing landscape. So our platform obviously provides this insight, not to breach these regulations.
Yeah. Okay. Many businesses, like you said, to your point, don't realize they're effectively acting like a bank, right, for their suppliers. How do you help them see the hidden cost of that?
Yes. So, most companies, when they sell goods and services, it's all about, I got a great price, and then they don't care when they get paid, actually. And it's why when you look, most startups, they don't fail because they don't do revenue. They fail because they don't manage their cash flow. On the payable side, so when you are buying goods and services, most procurement or sourcing executives, what they always think is, and this is their main job, is buying at the lowest price.
Yes.
But they don't know usually what does it mean. Okay, I'm buying maybe 5% cheaper than everybody else. Yes, but I'm paying these suppliers earlier than everybody else. So what is the benefit in terms of reducing the cost of my purchasing versus the financing cost using my own weighted average cost of capital of financing the supplier, acting, to your point, acting as a bank. And we provide this this calculation on our platform for every counterparty. We estimate the rating, because this is a core component, and to estimate the cost of debt or weighted average cost of capital of this counterparty, and then understanding with your own financing cost if it's a good deal or a bad deal, to make it very simple.
Amazing. So you mentioned that the future includes both buyer and supplier, right? Having access to the same data and agents, intelligent agents that you guys provide. What does that future look like in practice? Is there coexistence?
Yeah, so right now, for full disclosure, majority of our clients, or basically all our clients, are working with us as buying organizations. So we help them provide visibility and help them optimize their payment terms with their suppliers, right? But as we mentioned before, every company is a buyer and a supplier at the same time. Mm-hmm. So many of our clients reach out to us and say, great job, you really unlocked millions of cash flow for us, for our organization. But can you also help us on the receivable side? Because we are getting pushed by our retailers, by our clients, So we flip the model. It sounds easier than what it is, but we now provide the same intelligence when you are dealing as a supplier and negotiating terms with your customer. Now, it's still early stage, but we have a lot of interest, and The holy grail, or the to make the market optimal, is obviously when both parties have access to the same information. So there's full transparency for both parties, so they know exactly what is the optimum. And then maybe you and Misha, maybe for you it's like, okay, I'm willing to maybe get a better pricing, but maybe have some negative effect on my cash flow, but it's balanced because it's basically it's break even for me. And the same thing for me, I'm willing to pay a little bit more, but then maybe getting paid later. But the key is that both parties have the same access to the same information, and there's not like a winner and a loser.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's important that they see that there's equal benefit for both.
Yes.
That's most important in a negotiation. I like that. I want to switch tracks in our conversation to Calculum.ai just as a company, and how are you guys growing? And you said that lead generation has been such an important lever in your growth and how you've grown it over the years. And growth is your number one priority, right? And business is growing 3 times. Since this is a category that you said that you're creating rather than a category that you're entering, you entered this a few years ago. What have you learned about educating the market and selling cold to large enterprises? What has that been like? And what did you try?
So what we learned is, maybe it sounds a little bit weird, but we learned not to sell. So we try to open their eyes and intrigue them with some information and give them first something for free, like a benchmark, which we always do. Every client so far which we sign, we always do a free, we call it POC, a proof of concept, because at the end my team can tell you for hours how great we are and how much millions of cash flow our clients improve. But at the end, it's all lies in the data. That means how many of your suppliers or customers can we match in our system? So do we have data on? And is there an opportunity for you in terms of cash flow? So how much cash flow you're leaving on the table? If you are perfectly with your payment terms, the platform will not tell you, hey, push more. No, you're perfect, you're aligned. And for that, we always do a proof of concept. And this is a huge eye-opening for our prospects. And they get a benefit, a free benchmark. And then they can decide, should I move forward or not? But they can create a business plan a business plan where then they can go to the CFO, to the CEO and say, look, what I found, this makes sense. We can achieve that X, 50 million or 100 million in free cash flow in 12 months, 18 months.
Yeah.
So this is how we approach lead generation, sales, and educating the market.
Okay. Is it through and I'm going to get to tactics here. Cold emails? Is it advertising? Is it word of mouth? What are some of the strategies that you have tried in the company to get people to come to your thing or respond?
So maybe it sounds surprising, but it's cold email.
Nope.
And I received so many emails. I'm sure everybody, the audience, received so many emails, but it works. It still works. It still can smell and see if it's AI behind. So we write really personal emails and in a sequence, short, and then but because once we have somebody on the phone, the video call, we show them the platform, and then there's a big percentage which moves them to the next step. The other way how we are successful, it's obviously face-to-face in conferences, and there we have the advantage because we know the persona which have the biggest needs for that and which we can provide the biggest value, but they never heard something like what we provide. So they are intrigued, again, they are interested. It's not like another solution providers we have seen 10 times like this. No, they want to learn more, like, I never heard about this, how you can help me. So when we have these face-to-face meetings and personal discussions in conferences, we usually also are very successful. Advertisement, to be honest, we have not invested a lot, and I think there's a huge change now with AI and ChatGPT, Gemini. Like, who is searching on Google? I think LinkedIn is still popular, but I don't know how long it will take until maybe there's another way to do advertisement. I don't know.
Yeah, no, cool, very cool. You're using AI heavily across marketing, lead gen, like you said, sales, client support. Where has AI, according to you, been the most useful? And where are you still experimenting? And like you said, one of the things was your emails, right? You don't want it to sound like AI wrote it. What are the areas where you feel like there needs to be a balance between, yes, using AI, but also having the human element alive?
Yeah. So I would say, we had a So first of all, I have to say I believe 2026. So it's because everybody say in 2 years, 6 years. No, no, no. I think it's 2026 will be the inflection point. It will happen this year. And if you are not ready, if you don't invest, then either you will be out of business. But if you embrace it right now, then you can win. We had also internal meeting to look at every department, how you can make use of AI. So from coding, development, software development, to marketing, to sales, to client success management, to even HR, accounting, all these different aspects. Now, when it comes to marketing or lead generation, obviously all the tasks which are manual, like for example, finding conferences, finding the speakers, can be automated through an agent. Automating social media posts, where you have maybe a newsletter and you refurbish this information, this news to the different channels. But then when it comes to emails, we use obviously like a lot of people, CRM systems, email automation. But today, maybe we're a little bit still behind, but it's also different. We are selling to CFOs, to treasurers, to chief procurement officers. You have one shot. So it's not like we are selling on the consumer market to millions of people. So it's more the sniper approach than the machine gun approach where you just try. So when it comes to emails, writing and responding, we still do it manually. Maybe there's a better way in the future. But how we use now marketing, it's content, writing content, white papers, videos. We are just now exploring like cloning, like doing educational videos. It's very, very powerful in different languages.
Yeah. And is your team in-house or do you outsource any of this?
So we have in-house the managing of marketing, and then we use for different skill sets, video content or graphics, we use specialists.
Excellent. I remember you mentioning that you are private equity owned
Yes.
and you're going fast. Is there an eventual exit in mind or not thought
Sure.
about?
Yeah. The goal is and was always to have an exit in mind. It's not lifestyle businesses, but we still want to grow further. And the company is built also. It's pretty well organized. Everything is documented, but we still have some time.
Yeah. I'd love to know, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you at Calculum? And what are the plans?
So yeah, we have a clear plan. So as I said, this year we use already AI since almost now 5 years, but we will expand on that. We are in a special situation, I would say, because we're sitting on a lot of data. Our business is data. However, our clients share with us the data, so we have to be very, very careful and treat it with a lot of security compliance. So we cannot use the AI, the large language models. We have to build it internally because once it's out, correct? So this we have built successfully. Now the next step in this journey, and we already have started that for some large clients, is a typical client of ours, customers, they are dealing with 20,000, 50,000 suppliers on one side and maybe 10,000, 20,000 customers on the other side. So there's always the question like, okay, where's my biggest ROI? Where's the tail where it doesn't make sense to pick up the phone and negotiate? So here already we provide a service where our clients can outsource the negotiation to us. Today we do it via email, and then our system is reaching out to these suppliers or customers and negotiate with them the payment terms. Now, the next step in that journey is, and we are doing that this year, is to do this autonomous AI-powered negotiation, where you give, because we have all the data, all the parameters, and the frame, how far you want to go and what is acceptable, and then you have an AI autonomous negotiator reaching out, still with supervision from a human, but yes.
Sure.
So this is one thing what we are looking at. The other, more business oriented, is, as I mentioned, is focusing on and offering our solution out to the mid-market. So companies between, I would say, 200, 300 million and $1 billion in annual revenue. And then the third one is, as I mentioned before, is today we have been very successful on the payable side, so offering solutions to improve payment terms with suppliers. But now we're opening up the other side of the supply chain, so dealing with customers. So basically doubling the market, yes.
Yeah, great. And if you could wave a magic wand and remove one bottleneck, I know, very hard, loaded question from the business today, what would you remove first?
All these com- all this compliance check and security check, and now it's interesting, it's only since 1 year we see dealing with large organizations all these AI checks, like how you use AI, what are you doing. So this is also one of the reasons. So far we always passed, everything is fine, but it just takes time, every department wants to chip in and show that this is important and you have to review. But this is also one reason why we believe the mid-market is a little bit faster decision making and less all these compliance and security checks. Yes.
Amazing. No, thank you. Oliver, this has been a fantastic conversation. I have learned so much. And,
Thank
this is
you.
a very interesting topic. I love what you guys are doing with the company. Where can people find you, connect with you? Where are you online?
The easiest way is on our website, Calculum.ai, or on LinkedIn. Same, just search for Calculum, and then happy to have a conversation. Our team in Europe or in the US or wherever in the world. We always very open to learn more as you today, and also understand how maybe we can help them.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, all the best
Thank you,
for
Misha.
the future. And yeah, thank you
Yeah,
again.
it was great. Thank you so much. Have a great day.